So we are leaving a season where Shaq was in a complete renaissance. Like, there's games that we looked at where he's putting up 45 a game, like, or in a game, and he's still, like, this was his last truly competitive I'm Shaq season. It's his best season from a scoring standpoint, and really from most of his statistics since he left Miami, right? And
yeah, for sure.
He's thinking about retiring. He said it multiple times in multiple off seasons that we've looked at, where he's essentially said, I'm going to retire in 2010. It's over, right? But knowing Shaq the way we've gotten to know him a little bit now through this, what's been year of time, of actual time, but over these, what is this? What has it been? 15 seasons? Is this the 15th?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. He plays 19, doesn't he?
In total,
no, it's not
he
19.
plays
I think it's 17, maybe.
12, 20 seasons. No?
He plays 20 seasons?
Yeah.
Yeah, 20 seasons.
Okay.
He plays 20 seasons.
Okay.
So we just finished season fucking
Oh, yeah. Wow.
16. So, or 17, excuse me. So he is, I got to imagine Shaq feels like, man, I can help somebody. Like, I'm still relevant. I am the
especially
diesel.
after that season,
75 games played? I didn't even realize. That should be the most important stat.
Yeah. That's why when you
that's
said
absurd.
When I said for sure, that was because I saw the 75 games. So I was like, yeah,
he hasn't played 75 games.
18 and 8 for 75 games was crazy.
He hasn't played 75 games in the entire decade.
Yeah.
So he definitely feels like, I'm healthy, I'm ready, the diesel's here to pump butts with love. That's how he's feeling. There's no way he's not. He's definitely looking at it like, all right, I don't know how we didn't make the playoffs this time. I was destroying everyone. So get me to a contender or whatever. And
nah, you don't think he was that like clueless at that point? I think he realized
after 45 points. When was that 45-point game? When was that game?
Nah, you see,
you
like,
could be right. You could be right.
I think Shaq just plays with the media a lot. Like I think he knew at around this time, like, he was not the same guy.
So here we go. That crazy weekend we talked about last season, available in the archives, is the end of February, beginning of March, right?
Yeah.
They don't make the playoffs. This article are talking about, Shaq being in trade talks, comes out in June from the New York Times, right?
Yeah.
That's not that much time. That's all I'm saying. I just think he's definitely at the point, like, look at me, I'm absolutely dominating. Look at the last month of the season. Look at him. I'm going in the hole. I'm devastating. I'm getting in the paint. I'm dunking on everybody. I am the big man extraordinaire.
I think
18 points a game to finish the year. Basically 19, excuse me. 64% shooting. He's definitely like, if I get more shots, this is what will happen.
Yo, I think
to LeBron. Get me there. No.
I think Shaq's like the person he created, like, for everyone, it, like, just completely, like, you just look at that and you're like, this is him. This is the real him. I don't think I feel
Superman.
Like but I feel like he talks shit. Like, whenever he has like a high moment, he just starts talking shit. Like, but I don't think he believes it though. I don't think he believed at that point that he really could be that same Shaq, that same dominant Shaq.
I genuinely want to believe you. But there's so much wishy-washiness throughout these. And we talked about it last year. There's so much, like, in terms of that exact thought, the answer to that question is basically, can I still play at a high level? It is very depending on the day. And I feel like in the summer of 2009, he probably feels like I could be somebody's Robin. Like, there's no way he doesn't feel that way. He could do. He definitely feels like he could do at least what he did for D Wade.
Yeah. I think he could. He thinks he could be a number 2, like for sure. But you see, like the way you're talking about it is like him saying, "I'm gonna be Shaq of 2000." Like that. Like that's the way you're talking about it. And
I am not so sure. The way I was thinking about it though was what I said. Like he could be the guy the way he was for Dwayne Wade. I wasn't thinking about it like that. But it is crazy that he didn't play 75 games this whole decade. The only time he did was his MVP year. That's kind of crazy. But rumors of an O'Neal trade to Cleveland have lingered since February. So right around this time that we're talking about, the trade deadline was right after this crazy weekend and the games we were just looking at.
Yeah.
And the Cavaliers and the Phoenix Suns seriously discussed parameters of a deal. The story got new life when the Arizona Republic and ESPN.com, citing unnamed sources, reported over the weekend that the proposal had been revisited. So this is, when did I say this was? The 15th? Yeah, this is June 15th. So this is right during the finals or after the finals, no?
That's probably during the finals, I'd assume.
Yeah, I'll double check.
It's like right towards the end.
Yeah.
Like you got only a couple games left, probably.
Yeah, they're either in the finals or just finishing the finals.
Yeah.
Oh no, they just finished it because it's the start of the article says even as Kobe.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, I did forget it was only a 5-game series. You know. Yeah, we know what happened.
This is kind of relevant though because
it is.
When we talked about this during LeBron's legacy breakdown and a little bit during Kobe's as well. This was supposed to be the Lakers versus the Cavs. That's what the billing was. That's what everybody wanted. Yep. That's what most basketball fans who were generally cheering for the league wanted, that superstar matchup for GOAT purposes, I would imagine. Strictly GOAT to determine where they rank. It's such an easy indicator. You know what I mean?
We would have seen like a dog walking. That would have been very nice.
Fucking anyways. So the Magic get through the Cavs in the Eastern Finals, right? In an upset. And it's basically because the Cavs had no answer for Dwight Howard. None. Dwight tore through them like tissue paper, as I'm sure is playing on your screen. Like, Dwight is giving the fattest PP to everyone on the Cavs. Cavs have no answers. Big Z has no chance at all. Varejao, just Brazilian burger. There's no chance.
Yeah.
So
I remember like LeBron having like 30-point triple doubles and it still not being like he couldn't win against that team. Still,
his averages will be below your, on the fucking
he was
bar.
I remember he was wild. I was hating like crazy at that time, but I remember he was wilding. I remember thinking it wasn't his fault. You know,
I feel like the Cavs had to look at it like, we have to get Shaq while he's still good. What if they got Shaq in February? Maybe he contributes, considering what he did after the trade deadline. Maybe he contributes way more than I'm even giving him credit for. Yeah, maybe
if he would have definitely if they would have had this series, he would have been very his whole thing would have been I gotta lock Dwight up. Just
100%.
Yeah,
we're going to see going into this season, that is kind of the main narrative that I'm looking to push.
Yeah.
As we get through this year is this is the Shaq versus Dwight season because the Cavs are going to make the trade. What is the official deal? So the Cavs sent Ben Wallace. That's ironic. And oh man, now that I'm even seeing this, they had Ben Wallace last year. The Cavs the whole year.
Yeah.
So now, so basically I don't know why that didn't occur to me. Yeah, they did for a good portion of the year. So they basically looked at it like, man, we tried with Ben Wallace. Ben Wallace is just fucking, he's cooked. At 34 years old, he's too short to handle Big Dwight, who's in his physical peak.
Like, well, I don't know, because I think that year was Orlando's coming out year. Like, I don't think Cleveland was going into the 08-09 season thinking about how to get through the Magic. I think they were strictly thinking about the Celtics. Like before, but that 09 season.
You think wait, who was strictly thinking about the Celtics?
I think the Cleveland Cavs were strictly thinking about the Celtics. The Celtics had just won the NBA championship in 08, and they were like the clear cut, like,
sure,
to make it to the NBA Finals again. So like that's the team.
Yeah, the original Big Three. Yeah,
yeah, yep,
true.
And I think that was their overall goal. They ran into the Magic. A lot of people didn't even think going into that series. I remember a lot of people had Cleveland beating Orlando. Like,
right.
It was just Orlando was hot at that time. Like they just went on a crazy streak.
And it's just interesting because they're going to make this move because of that, because of the rise of the Magic. And for the third time in 4 years, Shaquille O'Neal is on the move, rumbling across the NBA landscape, forcing adjustments, reassessments, and revisions from coast to coast. The Cavs, in a bold stroke aimed at winning the championship, acquired O'Neal from the Phoenix Suns on Thursday in a stunning trade that will have ramifications across the league. This is something that I thought was interesting, and I didn't realize in the moment. I lived through this. I remember when Shaq was traded to the Cavs. I remember as a kid feeling like this was a big deal. I was in high school at the time, and I was like, I know Shaq's not Shaq, but I remember thinking, like, with LeBron, like, I felt like it was a move in the right direction for a Cavs team who never found a second star for LeBron in that first run. They tried to buy low on every second star that they ever brought in during that first Cleveland run, and it cost them LeBron. But the deal sparked a swift reaction from the Orlando Magic, which acquired guard Vince Carter from the Nets hours after the Shaq trade became official. So the Magic are like, you know what? Fuck you guys. If you guys are going to try and help against Dwight, we need another scoring option. Let's go get Vince in a similar position to Shaq. And it's crazy how long Vince Carter played. Like, when you look at stuff like this, like, Vince Carter's only like halfway through his career at this point.
Yeah, that's crazy. And
he's going to play another decade.
He was at like the mid-level though, like for the longest though. Like, so I guess it worked out for him though.
I always say this about Vince Carter, and I'm sure I've said this on the podcast before. He saw every role you can play in the NBA at his position. Every single role, like superstar, all-star, 1A, 1B, both 1A and 1B at certain points in his career. Like, being a role player, coming off the bench as a sixth man, being the vet at the end, like couple of minutes a game, like, and hit game winners, like coming just to make shots. Like, he played all the types of roles you can play at his wing position. Like,
for sure.
And it's crazy. Like, when you really think about it, every stage of the career, you saw it all. Vince Carter's the guy you show to if there's ever a school of basketball. This is what a perfect career looks like if you're not like a mega star. Like, it doesn't get much better than that, in my opinion. Without winning a championship or anything like that? Like, that's one of the best careers. Like,
the only thing with Vince Carter is I feel like did he do anything though? Like
from a popularity, from a basketball on the map standpoint, he made basketball very popular in Canada. Like, he changed the game. And the 2000 dunk contest was just immeasurable for the cool factor of the league at that point. Like,
but I just feel like in terms of
but he never really won any championships. He had a really fun playoffs against Allen Iverson in 2001. That was cool. But ultimately, not really. He's good in the media, I'll say that. He has a good podcast, or he had it. I don't know if he still does it. If he does, it'll be
The Jump?
interesting. No, he's on The Jump. That's not his podcast. But he used to do a podcast on The Ringer. That was pretty good. He did it while he was still playing at the tail end and then into retirement. It's really interesting. Kind of like what JJ did. Similar. Yeah. O'Neal, a 15-time All-Star, will join LeBron James, the league's reigning most valuable player, to form one of the most powerful tandems in the league. The Cavaliers were already an elite team, winning an NBA best 66 games last season. But one thing that was missing was star power or reliable scoring beyond LeBron James. That will no longer be a problem. And I have in the notes, which is my question, how the fuck is that a legitimate thought? That will no longer be a problem with a really aging Shaq? Like, do they really think he's going to go back to putting up 20 a game now?
Yeah. So my only thing with that is because the part that was weird to me is like they made it seem like it was like two stars colliding again. And I'm like, that's crazy to me. But in terms of like what they thought he could do for LeBron, I can kind of see that because like stats alone, like let's just say we're looking at stats, the NBA champions of last year, Kobe Bryant had a sidekick who gave him about 18 a year. 18
duos are in right now.
Yeah.
Duos are in.
Yeah.
Popular.
So, and they're looking at it as, all right, the MVP gets one of those kind of guys, and now we're looking at a possible championship contender. Like, I could see that, but it's also like, all right, this, like, the guy that's 18 and 10 on the championship team is like in his 20s, he's like 27 and he's skinny and he's actually in basketball shape, and this guy is going to be 38 and he's going to be like probably out of shape like he always is.
Yeah, the other this actually sparked a really interesting what if in my head, which is, what if Shaq went here in the trade instead of Miami?
Yeah.
What if that happened?
Like in Cleveland?
What if in LeBron's second year he gets Shaq? Do you think they get to the same thing that Miami got to, winning a championship?
Hell yeah. I think they win a championship probably just as quick.
They more than likely.
You know what? The only thing that's tough,
but it's really interesting, and that changes the whole course of history.
Yeah,
I don't know if LeBron ever leaves Cleveland if that happens.
Yeah, but another thing is, well, I don't know, because I think LeBron was just like he always like wanted to do what was best for his career to win a championship. So I feel like overall, I think he would have left anyways. But with Shaq, because it's the structure in Miami is a thing. Like I know it didn't seem like there was a structure, but having Pat Riley
absolutely there was an obvious structure. Definitely seemed like there was structure.
No, but I'm saying like from a fan who's just looking at it like Miami didn't win anything before that 06 championship. Like I could totally see them saying, "What are you talking about? Like they didn't win anything." Like, but in terms of like how Pat Riley just is, like there's a structure to that organization, and Shaq had to follow that. I don't know if it's the same thing if Shaq goes to Cleveland, where there's no structure at all, clearly, because LeBron didn't have any structure throughout his first 7 years.
That's really interesting. I didn't look at it like this, and I'm not telling you you're wrong. It's really interesting. Man.
But Shaq could be creating whatever type of environment, and a lot of Shaq's environment is probably happy-go-lucky, just like LeBron is cool, but he's also not going to be putting in that work.
That's the interesting part.
But he won't be putting in that work, though. Because I feel like he needs that. Like, think about it. When he got pushed in 2000, it was because like he hadn't won shit, along with Phil was also like pushing him in the beginning of that season. Remember?
Yeah.
Like to
but even after 2000, Kobe was a big motivating factor just by being,
exactly
in a contemptuous relationship.
Yeah.
There you go. And Wade, a minute.
Yeah, Wade
thank you.
didn't really do that, but you have Pat Riley being the one pushing Shaq. Like, so Shaq's always had some type of push. When he hasn't had that push, like in Orlando in the beginning, like sure they can win, but when it's down to the nitty gritty, he folds up like you just got punched in the jaw and you like.
It's definitely been something that plagued him for a long time until he won, and hasn't. There are moments after, Shaq's prime where we saw some of that again.
Yeah, we in our archives, we went through multiple seasons of Shaq ending his season in a sweep.
Facts.
Like
literally the whole beginning.
Exactly.
The first 7 to 10 hours of this series on Shaq is him getting swept.
Yeah, we're like, oh wow, this is the 5th straight season Shaq just got swept. Like
more like, oh wow, only an hour and a half? Oh man. Usually we're here for about 3.5 hours. How fucking long? It's crazy. I wonder why. Yeah, fucking. So I'm looking at the preseason odds for the Cavs, and they are the number 1 team in the East by preseason odds, according to Basketball Reference, with an over/under of 61 and a half to start the year. So people thought Shaq was a major addition, because what was their preseason odds the year before? So I can't imagine it would be the same. Yeah, look, huge difference, right? Because no one expected them to have that defense. I remember we talked about this during the legacy breakdown. Yep. The defense was unfucking believable, and that's what pushed LeBron to his first MVP.
Yeah.
So it's just interesting to me because I get it. I get it for Cleveland. And I feel like from a front office standpoint, I don't think Cleveland has this expectation that the media has. I think Cleveland looks at it like, we know this guy can fuck with Dwight Howard. We know we can. We know he can, and we need him. And did they nail that. Because, go ahead.
I just want to add, I also think what they needed was a consistent number 2. And they felt like Shaq being such a presence in the paint would make him at least assure them a couple, like the 10, 15 the 15 points that they need. Really
interesting time in basketball, right?
Yeah.
Not a sentence.
Think about it. Mo Williams was his number 2. Like that. And like at times, like people thought he was like a legit number 2. Like, cause they went 66 wins and Mo Williams averaged over 15 a game. I think it was like 17, maybe 18.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it's just interesting how basketball still works at this point, and because, normally now we know that's the exact opposite type of player LeBron needs to win championships.
Yeah.
Is a paint clogger who can't shoot at all and can't move up and down in transition.
Yeah.
But what you said for this era of basketball is still holds true. Like, it makes sense, but it's just interesting. Like,
I just think he definitely needs a much more skilled big man. Like, if you're going to play with him, you have to have some type of a shot. Like, AD worked well with LeBron in 2020 because he was able to create an outside presence too, which opened the lane up for LeBron.
Like, and when you look at it that way, it's actually not super surprising that they didn't go farther. But it does make sense at this stage of basketball, like, especially considering Shaq. They really want Shaq to come in and play defense, and I think they do already have a defensive identity. So I don't know. I think it's a good move, and the biggest reason I think it's a great move is because of how much it bothers Shaq that Dwight Howard is Superman.
Yeah.
It is one of the most petty things in Shaq's career, and that's saying something, because we've gone through probably 1,000 different petty moments in this guy's career, and
the Dwight Howard thing was always like just extra for no reason.
It's so ridiculous because all this guy Dwight, for the longest, all he wanted to do was be accepted by Shaq. That's always how it was portrayed. That's always how it was perceived by me.
Yeah.
And it's just interesting because, like, Shaq,
because he was probably
just totally big brothered him.
Yeah.
And gave him the cold shoulder and like, fuck this guy. He's stealing my money type thing.
Well, think about it, because like Dwight's coming in 04, right?
Yeah.
Shaq's just coming off his 3P, right? He was the main the person who put Orlando on the map. So this dude was 100% like the biggest Shaq fan, because like. Yeah. And then that's probably why the Superman thing became a thing. And
for sure.
He goes like, "Let's go, Shaq." Shaq's like, "Fuck you." I hate
you know what's funny? Like,
I hope
funny because
everything about you is gone. Like, I hope I ruined your life.
But it's funny because we've seen Dwight's whole career now, and we know that he was not a really well-liked guy amongst the All-Stars. And like, there's a reason why he bounced from team to team to team at the end of his career, is because a lot of people just did not like him. Like, he did a lot of immature shit. That's been documented. Like, I'll have some of the stuff.
But Shaq has, come on, Shaq.
No. What I'm saying is, I just think Dwight was over there like, "Hey, what's up, Shaq? Shaq, be my friend." Shaq's like, "Get the fuck away from me, you annoying fuck. Fucking nobody likes you. I don't fuck with you. Get over there on the other basket. Go dunk somewhere else. Fuck off. You're not Superman. You're fucking nothing to me. Fuck off. You're not even a hero. Stop stealing my fucking shit." Like, I think, and it's just interesting that, like, you know, nobody ever came to Dwight's defense to say, "Man, Shaq, you give the guy a break," whatever. Like the way they did for JaVale McGee, for example, who was a liked guy.
So to put this in perspective, like, because Kobe got a lot of shit for like giving shit to teammates.
Yeah.
And like and I think the Dwight Howard thing was like big. Some people gave him shit about it, but for the most part, a lot of the NBA world was like, "I completely understand why Kobe was an asshole."
Yeah. That's my point. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, there's stories of Dwight during Team USA, like farting in people's faces and like doing like weird, childish shit. Like, it's crazy. And stuff you'd never imagine a 6'10" guy to do. However, looks like he's going to try out for WWE. Good luck with that, Dwight. That'll be cool. Oh, I took this out because they're just talking about how. They're talking about Shaq and like how in 5 years ago, this would have qualified as a blockbuster, oh my God, trade. Most of us would have said, engrave the championship trophy and give it to the Cavs. In 2009, this trade has all the makings of a colossal bust. So everything we were just talking about.
Yeah. That's why it's interesting that you told me you thought it was a big deal. Because like, I remember when that happened, like, we didn't care about it at all. Because we didn't think and we thought like, it did nothing for Cleveland.
Really?
Yeah. Like I always looked at the Celtics as but that might be because of the last 2 years. Like,
well, you know what made me nervous? I was never a big Perkins guy. You know?
Yeah.
It's really the starting 5 of the Celtics that was so fire. Like, they kind of took a similar blueprint that Detroit had, where their starting 5 is sick. They play hard defense, and as long as those guys stay healthy, then the core stays together. Their chemistry is what's going to get them through it.
But at the time, the Celtics were thought to have had a bench.
Yeah, no. I get what you're saying, but that, like, if you look at the total minutes of that starting 5 and the plus minus of those 5 guys, it's like ridiculous. But I bring this up to say, I didn't think Perkins had what it took to fuck with Shaq all the time. Like, even at this advanced stage, I was like, LeBron. Because LeBron would always come in and give us dick. Like, score so many points. This is the year where that, it was happening in the regular season, but obviously we'll get to the playoffs in a little bit. But before this, it was just LeBron scoring. Mucho points, destroying all the Celtics. The Celtics thing was, we're going to let LeBron get 80, and we're going to stop every other guy that plays with him. Nobody else is scoring more than 10 points on this team.
Yeah.
And that's how they were able to get over the hump. But I was just like, oh, man, now they have Shaq. There's no way they can, if they're if LeBron's going to get 20, Shaq's going to come close, going to get like 19, 18, something like that. Because of the year I just saw him have in Phoenix where he was doing shit. You know what I mean? There was no reason to think that wasn't going to continue. Like, not he was going to average 30 points a game, but he was good for at least 15, which LeBron never had outside of Mo Williams.
Yeah.
Like, never had it. Every legacy breakdown we did, we looked at the playoffs. It was LeBron James, crazy stat line, and then highest scoring teammate, and it was never above 10 points a game in any playoff series. And that's where Shaq helped immensely, because you could never imagine, even at this stage, Shaq averaging less than 10 points a game. Like, you figure he was good for 15, for sure. But this article is basically talking about how it's an argument between the author and this guy who's in a barbershop with him. And basically the crux of the argument is like an in-shape Shaq gets you to a championship. But the other guy's like, when was the last time we saw that shit? And, you know, the guy's like, I've changed my views of Shaq since he left the Lakers. The tension was thick between Shaq and Kobe. Kobe was cast as the villain, Shaq the victim. Shaq remains one of my favorite personalities, although the more I've seen Kobe, the clearer it has become that he wasn't totally the bad guy.
You want to know
Love that was written.
Yeah, but you want to know what's so funny, that this is when he has his epiphany after Kobe wins his 4th championship. Like, you weren't saying, like, why didn't you say that a year ago? Like,
it's crazy how that happens.
Yeah,
it's crazy how
like, they suddenly have the same amount of championships. So, you know, people are so stupid.
It is, but it's just, I love this shit. I love it. That's good. That's a great point.
Yeah.
But going into, let's see. Oh, last thing of the preseason, because this regular season is going to go by pretty quick. The shift in the way athletes communicate was succinctly expressed last month by Shaq. Quote, I'm the reporter now. DA. all of Shaq's tweets from way back when, as you probably saw last episode when we were talking about how he said to Kobe,
yeah,
I'm sure, to tell me how my ass tastes thing. He's doing all of these. The spelling is never perfect. Like, you know, he's just sitting there on his phone, on his couch with his kids, fucking around. Like, but I'm the reporter now, Shaq said in a Twitter message in response to news media criticism of his tweeted barbs at Dwight Howard. So they went into a whole Twitter beef, right? Once Shaq officially was on the Cavs and they were going to go head to head, right?
Yeah. Dwight gotta watch out, because Shaq pops motherfuckers. Remember back in like 1996 or something when he knocks somebody out? 98. It was in 98. I remember. One of those Jazz players.
But basically, the point of this article is that this is a seismic change. Not just in the way that athletes market themselves, but of relating to other athletes. Like, we are hitting the point of the social media era. It's about to really break open. And Shaq has more followers before the start of this season than the NBA.
Yeah.
And all 30 teams have Twitter accounts. The Lakers have the biggest following at this point with 700,000. This is where we're at, man. Yeah. How many followers does the Lakers Twitter have now?
Like 5 million. I checked the other day.
You did?
Yeah, like 4 or 5 million, I think. I remember like Shaq, or maybe it was the NBA that had it. It might be like 1 point something. The NBA has more followers.
10.9 million followers, right?
Like that.
And Shaq has 1.6 million.
Yeah.
In
Shaq got like
basically a year.
Million now, though.
Yeah, what's he at today? But he's a pioneer of this. Like, I think it deserves to be shown. Like, it deserves to be known. Like, the guy is a pioneer of social media. 15.8. Jesus, not a whole lot of growth in comparison to other people. You'd think, man, you're first to the party. You're all these. You should have gotten at least 20 million followers. God damn. But 15.8. He's on his way. I just thought that was interesting because he really was a pioneer. He started November 2008. So there you go. Like, he is at the forefront of what we're going to see going into today's, we're in the 2020s. What?
My man wrote, very quotations, I perform random acts of Shaqness.
Yeah, you never heard of, Ras? Good old Ras. We call them Racks, random acts of kindness, but Shaqness sounds better. He's right. It's just he's big. He breaks a door. It's a random act of Shaqness. He tries to choke out Charles Barkley, something like that.
Yeah, gets angry when you say someone's not barbecue chicken.
Oh, the laid-back Phoenix Suns had many remarks indicating that they were happy to see Shaq leave. Wanted to note that.
I do want to know something though, because it's funny as hell. And I never thought about this before, but 2009 Phoenix didn't make the playoffs. I think Phoenix ends up benefiting by reducing, I guess. You get rid of Shaq, and they ended up benefiting in that sense because they were able to speeding the pace up. Because they get to the Western Conference Finals this year.
It's everything that It's everything that I was saying before. It's crazy how, when you look at it with hindsight, if you were like, oh, you should have just tried to trade for like Rasheed Wallace or like somebody who could stretch the floor, like, and that same age type situation
for the Cavs.
Yeah, for the Cavs. Like, if you just got a guy to stretch the floor out, maybe and for Phoenix, like, if Phoenix had to make the same decision in 2020, they never get Shaq in the first place.
Yeah. But think about it. That was their issue with the Cavs. Like, Mo Williams was stretching the floor. Like, he was the guy that's supposed to be opening. Mo Williams, he wasn't bad. It was just in the playoffs, he underperformed. Like, but during the regular season, he was a good number 2 for LeBron for the longest. Yeah. And I think Rashard Lewis at that time does the same thing. Like, probably a little worse than what Mo Williams was doing, because Mo Williams was also a good passer and stuff like that. Like, take the ball away from LeBron a little bit.
But it's just interesting because, like, you're completely right. But in the moment when they're acquiring this megastar known as the Shaq, like Phoenix, all they were thinking about is, we need better defense. We need to slow down. We need to.
Sorry, you were talking about Phoenix. I thought you were talking about the Cavs.
Well, no. I'm saying instead of, I was talking about both, because we're looking at the whole theme I'm talking about here is the fact that this is just, we are right on. No, but we are right on the cusp of a major era change. Like. Yeah. And this finals is going to be the last NBA finals where we see like 2 traditional starting fives. After this, we're going to see lots of stretching the floor going forward for the next till now. Like, and it's something I brought up on the show before with that finals. But the point you made about Phoenix speeding the pace up and then looking at Cleveland, as we were talking about before, it ends up screwing them up come playoff time. And it's like, these are things we're going to fix in the next decade. And it's really interesting how the league is so different in the next 5 years than it is at this point. Like, and it's right on the cliff of where we're starting to speed up and work with more shooting. And then by 2015, when Curry happens, it just starts really like these next 10 years, this next decade or these next 5 years, are crazy. I think.
I think the pace is fast within the next 5 years. I thought that
it's not fast as fast as it is now, but it's not slower. Like, we just left the slowest pace. The slowest pace was the mid 2000s, early 2000s.
Yep.
Like, that was it, and it was basically from Jordan's The Last Dance till. Like, they changed the rules, so they changed the hand checking rules and shit like that. So like 05, 06, like when Shaq won his last championship, that's the slowest time. After that, it starts to go up little by little. And then again, with the Curry thing, it starts to really take off. If Phoenix, and Nash has said this, we should have shot more threes. We should have went faster. We should have just said, fuck, like trying to get slower and play better defense. We just need to score on all these motherfuckers because we have the talent and we have the system. And if they're that far ahead of the curve, maybe they get to a championship before anybody tries to really figure it out. You know what I mean?
The only thing that makes me it makes me think of the Warriors at that time, like that 2008. I mean, the 2008 to 2010 Warriors.
The Baron Davis, flash my titties, dunk. Warriors,
but they were also like the highest scoring team, like for the longest. But they just played no defense. It was just like running up and down the court.
Yeah,
and because I remember, I think even in this season in 2010, the Lakers play them. The Lakers end up winning. In a post game, Kobe, he says, "This is not a play. That's not a playoff team. It's just like literally, just like playing basketball, like a fun or something." Like he's
such a fucking. He's a fucking.
He was honest though, like because he literally
just because they're having too much fun. I can't. Basketball is about pain and misery.
No, I think he was saying,
repetition and trying so hard that your eyes bleed.
Nah, he's pretty much saying like it was too fast. It was too fast paced and no defense played. That this won't look like that during the playoffs because you slow the pace down. I think he even breaks that down during the interview. Like,
well, no. So let's get into the actual regular season that we haven't even left. Or haven't even gotten into. Welcome to Apex Greatness, where we spend 45 minutes talking about the preseason. But no. So let me stop bearing my own product. We start with the Boston Celtics, a interesting test to start the season, right? Celtics are going to win 95-89. I vividly remember this game. It was the year before we started college. Or 2 years before we started college. So I was a junior in high school. Yeah. And I remember cheering for the big three who, for the most part, showed up. Kevin Garnett, 13-10, 3 blocks. Paul Pierce, 23 and 11 rebounds. And Ray Allen, 16 points, 2 threes. Just a solid all-around thing. This is what I'm saying. And look who we have on the bench.
Yeah.
Guy I brought up before. If they had just done this instead of fucking getting Shaq, I think there's like this wild, like people are going to be blown away by the impact because of his shooting.
For whatever reason.
Well, either way, him too. Yeah. But Rasheed Wallace is like, they're both like right on the tail end of their careers. Him and Shaq, like they're both at the same exact spot.
And you also had the big four there. Don't forget, Rondo had his 8 points, 10 assists. That was his natural at that point.
Yeah, he's and this playoffs, Rondo's going to really have his coming out party.
He was out, yeah.
But LeBron, the usual 38 points, just carrying the team. This era of LeBron was just so ridiculous. Like, we covered it in pretty good detail, but it's just really interesting how he just had one mentality at this point. And he was passing out and giving other people game-winning shots, and he got criticized for that a lot. But it's really just, I'm taking 20 fucking shots. I have to get 30, or we have no chance to win. None. Yeah. But Shaq, 10 points, 10 rebounds in his debut.
My man's gave us I was going to say, not Greg Monroe. What's his name?
Oh, the Andre Drummond?
Yeah, the Andre Drummond.
The 10 points,
double,
10 rebounds. Yeah, the Andre Drummond. That's fucking amazing. Yeah. But O'Neal's acquisition carries risk and reward. This is after the game. With Shaq, the Cavaliers possess a box-to-box scoring threat for the first time in the LeBron James era. Kind of what we were talking about before. That showed early when Shaq made his first 3 shots. He scored only 2 points in the second half, and the Cavaliers never led. So it's like they're still trying to get used to him. So Shaq says, I've been around 17 years. So win the first game, lose the first game. You just got to get better. It's still fairly a new team. We're learning each other, which is, as is the case with all these super teams, as we've come to learn by today. Nobody expects these teams to do well in the beginning. But after a month, there's expectations because they got to get at least some sort of chemistry going.
Yeah.
Unless you're, the Dwight and Kobe Lakers, for example. But the first meeting.
Don't be trying to hate on my boy, man.
We're going to go through each and every meeting of Cleveland and Orlando because it's important and it's the narrative of this season. So, first one is very early in the year, within 10 games for both teams. And Cleveland's going to win 102-93. Shaq is going to play 19 minutes and 30 seconds, 10 points, 5 rebounds, 2 blocks, 5 personal fouls, which obviously we know Shaq fouls out a lot, but he definitely was putting Dwight at the free throw line. And Dwight, 5 fouls in his own right, 11 points, 7 rebounds. Not even close to where he was at before, or like last year.
Yeah.
So
definitely not the same guy.
Yeah. And so I'm sure Cleveland's looking at it like, sick. We did it. We did it. We did something right. We never do anything right in this fucking stupid organization. We finally got a guy that, like, we thought he would be able to help against Dwight, and he did. Dwight only takes 3 shots in the whole fucking game.
Yeah.
Vince Carter has 29. All-star type stat line from Vince Carter. But
do you think LeBron was a good like a lockdown defender at this point?
I don't know. I'm not going to say he's a bad defender, and he's definitely making the chase down block super famous. But they have to be the best. They were the best defensive team last season because he was, right?
I don't know.
You can't say he was not, because I'm not calling any of these other motherfuckers solid defenders.
Remember, he had Ben Wallace, and they were more physical that 2009 season.
Right.
Like
they did, but they're going to maintain their defensive efficiency this year for sure.
Are they still number 1 in the league?
I'm getting you that in 2 seconds. So they are top 10. They're 7th, and they're 6th in offensive rating, 7th in defensive rating, and 6th in opponent points per game. So they're basically top 5 in all the main defensive statistics per team. They're not number 1.
I don't know. Maybe it's my hater. Maybe I'm still a hater at this point. Whenever we talk about this LeBron, I think I just get like that. Whatever.
I think the defense is underrated for sure, because you're not alone. I think there are a lot of people who think, LeBron's just weak ass. Because this is my thing. This is my thing with that. Okay, to steal a quote from my friend across from me. I don't understand how you can watch a guy like James Harden and then watch this LeBron and go, yeah, they're both not very good defenders. Like,
oh no, that's not what. That's not.
But that's like what a bad defender is James Harden on the Houston Rockets in the beginning. That's a bad defender. That's what a bad defender looks like. You don't get to top 5 at defense with him on your team unless he fixes shit. Like, So I think LeBron was a above average, borderline great defender at minimum, and at maximum one of the 5 best defenders in the league. Like what Giannis does, just at a.
But I think that's
smaller
like
scale.
2013 LeBron though. I don't think he.
That's where I don't agree. I feel like he's going to win an MVP this year and last year for a reason. And
but it wasn't because he defense. Can't. Where was he?
You can't tell me it's like. Right, where's he going to rank for Defensive Player of the Year?
Breakdown. I'm not going to argue about LeBron. We're good. I got you.
No, let's stop.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. I'm like, I'm not about to argue about LeBron's defense.
What do you call it?
We're good.
But no. So 1-0 Cavs versus Magic. They're going to play 3 times this year. Shaq. The one interesting kind of ripple of this matchup is they're playing the Orlando Magic. Shaq and Shaq and the Orlando Magic have just a little bit of history. Just a smidge of history. The last time I think he said something about the Magic that I wrote down was, I'm the general manager of this team, even though I don't even play for it. Just totally disrespecting them. So Shaq battled boos and bruises to score 10 points and keep Dwight Howard in foul trouble most of the night, giving LeBron and company all the inside strength they sorely lacked last season. I think we just played with a sense of urgency, LeBron said. We're in attack mode. The whole game, we put pressure on their defense. Shaq put pressure on Dwight. We were able to get him into some foul trouble. Shaq did not speak with reporters after the game. This I'm okay with because he's just not as relevant. He doesn't have to speak to reporters all the time.
Yeah.
And also, if he did, I'm sure he would have said some disparaging shit about Dwight Howard, about how he doesn't have a penis or something fucked up. But Shaq and Dwight were banging bodies inside. They're 500 pounds of combined weight. Their powerful elbows swinging large with every move.
Time out. Sorry. Oh!
Did you just kill your cat? What just happened right there? Did you cat alive? What just happened?
He's been trying to get in the room this whole time, and like all I hear is him
scratching the door. And I hear him. Yeah. Huh? I didn't hear him at all, and he usually doesn't come through the audio because I know he does that a lot.
Yeah, but that shit was like super distracting. Like I couldn't even pay attention to what you were saying. Like I'm just like, yo, all I hear is this nigga trying to get in, and it's gonna be terrible.
Okay. So all I heard when you said timeout is, and I was like, oh, is your cat? And then you went down, and I was like, is your cat dead? What just happened there? What did I just witness? A murder? An animal murder?
Just watch that, nigga. Like, fuck you, nigga.
Excuse me for a moment. Motherfucker. Like, what did I just witness? Okay, no.
Just killed my cat on camera. Oh man!
God. All right, so each team went with two centers on the floor: Howard and Marcin Gortat, and Shaq and Zydrunas Ilgauskas. Gee, you think fucking they would have gotten away with that in even fucking 2 years from now? No way! Oh my god, the 2020 Lakers would just fucking.
It would have been the worst team in the league.
Beat the white dog shit out of this team. Oh my god.
Yeah, for
insane.
Sure. I promise you, Shaq wouldn't think that though. He'll be like, "No, the centers in this league right now, they barbecue chicken.
Yeah, even me, barbecue chicken alert. What's Draymond Green gonna do about me? His little ass.
Yeah,
fuck, bust him up. But what do you call it? It was Superman versus Superman, past versus present, showered with booze on every touch. Shaq gave glimpses that he could be Cleveland's missing piece, even though the 37-year-old is no longer the unstoppable force that put the Magic franchise on the map. He helped put Dwight in foul trouble for most of the first half, and it's just crazy because the former Magic big man soaked up all the attention too. He amped up Amway Arena at his pulse, even leaving his hand up a little longer after making free throws. So some of this action with the gooseneck. Fucking and scoffing at the Superman anthem played after Dwight Howard's dunks. God, I hope I can find that. I hope I can find Shaq just like being butthurt, getting his panties in the twist over.
Always saying something about it.
Yeah, of course. I think Shaq always plays a big game when he's matched up against one of the big centers. Mo Williams said, but Orlando fans have long considered O'Neal their biggest villain. It's just crazy, like.
Oh, for sure.
A very underrated part of the Shaq versus Dwight thing is that it's basically Dwight is Shaq's replacement from the Magic. It took them 10 years to get one.
Yeah.
But they got one.
Yeah.
And it was fucked up because they were like, literally there was news reports about how Dwight smiles too much when he plays Shaq. Like, come on, man.
Well, that was his biggest thing. Yeah,
in hindsight, though, man, that is a negative aspect of Michael Jordan's impact on the league. We don't all have to be sociopaths like Kobe and fucking Kevin Garnett. Like, we don't have to fucking be assholes. Some of us can have a good time. Like, it's okay. You can be a happy person and win a championship. But no, Dwight, you're smiling too much when you play Shaq.
How many guys you've seen that's like that, though?
Face.
Yeah. How many guys you've seen that's like that, though?
Oh, I mean, the list is short, but like, there are some that exist. Magic Johnson, for example.
He was a terror, though. Like, he was, like, he was on. Come on. He literally was like all smiling in your face, and then he popped Isaiah, didn't he? Like, come on.
Yeah, but that was later on. That was at his rugged point. Like LeBron. LeBron's not at his rugged point yet. Like, I'm sure that I guess you're right. I guess to be a multi-time mega champion, you can't be nice. You have to be like kind of a cunt. That sucks.
Like, the only nice guy is kind of Curry, but like not even. Like, he's still an
definitely
asshole.
not, Mr. Fucking. I'm gonna take a shit on the court. Get the fuck out of here.
I can't even think of a nice champion off the top of my head.
Mr. Like, Doo-doo on the court, Curry.
Nice. He's a ruthless.
Not when he became a champion, he wasn't. Yeah. Another guy had to have the smile beat out of him. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
That's what it is. You got to take away that little.
Basketball is an ugly game at its core, man.
Punching the little kid in the face.
Yeah. Basketball is a fucking ugly sport at its core. You have to be a ruthless, obsessive jerk.
They say it's a game
of men. Done.
Yeah, it's a game of men, you know?
I guess, but come on, man. We can have some sensitivity. We could be soft. Yeah. It doesn't always have to be hard like rock. It doesn't always have to be like that.
Okay, that was like kind of.
That's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here for. That's my gimmick.
Gotta add it in, yeah.
But no. So the next thing on the agenda is Christmas. Like I said, we're not going to go through every single thing here with Shaq. It's just Shaq playing mediocre for a while. He's got a couple of decent games, and he's helping the team. Some quotes here or there, but really, this Christmas Day matchup is pretty big because the Cavs are playing really well. They're 22-8 going into this game. Lakers 23-4, right? Yep. Both leading the NBA. And it's once again Shaq versus Kobe, Shaq versus Phil Jackson, LeBron versus Kobe. Lots of storylines brewing, rather. Like, do you remember this game?
I think at this time, like, me and my friends were starting to like do Christmas together and watch the games.
Very cool.
And I remember this was the beginning of the tradition of like 3 straight years of Kobe losing in the on Christmas. That's why when Johnny mentioned that Kobe sucks on Christmas, I couldn't really like argue too much about it because I don't know why. Like, it's just like he was just like, "Fuck this day. Why do I have to work? Why do I have to play basketball on Christmas?"
But but do you remember? Like, I just imagine you being super angry watching this game because apparently everyone in the arena was angry watching the game. They threw shit on the court. Like, that's why I was wondering if maybe you remembered this game because I don't remember it like that. I don't remember it being like.
I was just mad. I remember being mad a lot this year of Ron Artest because he was supposed to be this defensive stopper, and I literally because I watch these games often, and I always felt like I'd rather Kobe guard the guy than Ron Artest at this point.
Right.
Yeah, and
I'm shocked.
But I mean, it just didn't. Things didn't happen.
I'm so surprised by that announcement.
Yeah.
But again, the second half, Mo Williams gets to the free throw line 10 times. The Lakers as a team get to the free throw line 14 times in the second half.
Yeah.
18 personal fouls to Cleveland's
Also,
12.
for you really young people who are probably very confused on when I say Ron Artest, and then he looked at the box score and there was no Ron Artest there, it's Meta World Peace.
Facts. Yeah. Facts.
Because I just looked at it too and I'm like, oh, it doesn't. People are going to be confused.
It's all right. It's all right. Fucking
MWP.
The fuck?
I got meta.
So I found this thing that came out in January which has kind of become a theme I didn't expect so far in this episode. But it's LeBron James stats with Shaq versus without Shaq.
No, I actually actively remember them talking about this throughout the season.
I'm gonna try and pull up these numbers.
I remember watching I think it might have been that Magic game that they start showing some of that stuff.
Really? See,
Yeah.
I don't remember the fucking. I'm shocked. I don't remember the fucking TV media.
What game was that?
I'm shocked by this.
Think about put the game on that was around that time.
So as of the 27th of January, so it's a month after this Christmas game we just talked about. It's versus Minnesota.
So it was against Miami. It was probably the Miami game. I think that's the game that Dwayne Wade dunks on the dude. Or is that an 09?
It might be. I don't know what. I'll look it up if you're right. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, when Dwayne Wade dunks on Varejao,
but they're in the middle of a massive winning streak here. In January into February, this is going to be a 13-game winning streak. This is what is going to get LeBron the MVP, because LeBron's numbers during this winning streak are crazy. But Shaq's numbers are fantastic.
Which I believe he didn't deserve the MVP.
That is check out our archives. We talked about it then. But
7-game winners, man. All right, but I'm just saying.
So, as of the 27th of January, these are LeBron James numbers with Shaq on the floor versus without Shaq. And most of these, in terms of efficiency and assist rate, rebound rate, a lot of these are up when Shaq is off the floor. Gee, I wonder why.
Yeah.
Probably because Shaq is a giant black hole sitting in the middle of your paint. And, LeBron doesn't need that shit. And it's crazy because Shaq, on the other hand, efficiency way better with LeBron than without him. Why? Because LeBron is just feeding this man lobs all game. Inbound pass for dunks. So easy. Shaq's game to play with LeBron and his playmaking first mind.
Yeah.
So easy. But, of course, LeBron's going to be less efficient. He has to shoot more. He has to be away from the basket more.
And to add to that, I also think the difference with Shaq and LeBron versus Shaq and anybody else before that, it was always the offense. I mean, the defense always focused on Shaq,
right?
And this year in particular, the defense was strictly focused on LeBron.
Yeah.
So that's why it kind of makes sense that with Shaq being there, clogs up the paint a little. I don't understand why the 3-point field goal percentage is there. I feel like that does it was barely a difference anyways, and I think it just wouldn't be a difference because Shaq. I would
like to see 3-pointers per game, or the average 3-pointers with Shaq.
Yeah, how many more?
Shaq. Yeah. That's what I would like to see, because I bet your ass, you know what? We can't get it the way they're doing it, where they split it with plus minus, but we can stat muse that. So without Shaq, he's taking 4.5, right?
Yep.
With Shaq, 5.4. It goes up a whole 3-pointer. This is my point. He has to take more shots away from the basket. Way more shots away from the basket, because Shaq is there clogging the paint. So that makes so much sense to me. It just does.
Which is obviously at that point, that's not you'd much rather LeBron attack in the basket,
yes,
and making a play versus taking a 3-point shot. Even though you see 35%, LeBron at that point, he wasn't a reliable 3-point shooter.
51%, 52% shooting from the field without Shaq. With Shaq, it drops under 50%, just a shade under 50%.
Yeah.
And I wonder what this is the last thing.
What's his assists per game? difference. He's
so
averaging almost 9 with Shaq.
8.5 with Shaq, 8.8 without him.
Oh, more. Wow.
That's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But I wonder what his effective field goal is.
I would assume it's more with Shaq and less without.
54.6 without Shaq, right? 54. It's close. It's not super.
Yeah.
It's not as far as
the reason I would think. Wait, it was less.
It's basically the
Shaq?
same. It's 54.4 versus 54.6.
Oh wow.
Where it's a cut hand.
I would think because he's taking more threes, it would make his effective field goals go up with Shaq.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But it's literally virtually the same. But the attempts, I'm glad I looked that up, and because that's crazy, and it's just not what you want. To your point, you want him getting to the basket, especially in this pre-Miami period of time where he is the most athletic specimen in the game.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's him and Wade at this point. I think that were the most athletic, probably wing players.
And the New York Times is going to with these stats, right? With these stats, the New York Times is going to say the offensive struggles may be attributed to Shaq's negative impact on LeBron's efficiency and style of play.
Yep.
Nailed it. Like, it all goes to this theme we got going on that maybe they could have done, like, if they had just had the brain of a team from 4 years later, this is completely different.
Yeah.
They think more in terms of shooting. Like, that's what the biggest thing was about LeBron going to Miami, is that team building just changed dramatically.
Yeah, for sure.
But we are up to our second matchup versus the Orlando Magic, which is in this winning streak. It's the last game of the winning streak. Shaq, 10 points, 6 rebounds, another 5 fucking fouls. And Dwight, 19 points, only 30 minutes played, 19 points, 11 rebounds,
yep.
2 blocks, 5 fouls. So again, kept him in foul trouble.
Yeah.
And Cleveland is going to get the win by 9. And how much did Dwight play in the second half, I wonder? Dwight, 10 points, 4 of 6.
He probably lost
17 minutes.
Time in the first
Played the
half.
whole fourth quarter.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. Vince Carter, no 30 ball this time. It was kind of an all-around effort from the Magic.
Yeah.
What did LeBron have? 32, 8, and 13 assists.
Yeah.
Just some video game shit. 48% shooting. Boobie Gibson had 11 points. J.J. Hickson had 20. Man, I forgot about that guy. Another solid 80 overall in 2K. Great player, J.J. Hickson.
Whatever happened to Mo Williams? Like, he wasn't part of the Shaq trade, right?
No, he was here. He's on this team. I guess he's injured.
Oh, okay.
I'm almost 100%. Now you got me tripping. I saw him, like, he had points earlier. Yeah, Mo Williams. He just was injured.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
But 2-0, right? 2-0. Cavs and Shaq over Dwight this year so far.
Yeah.
So
they're only going to play it two times this season, right?
They play 3. The NBA was smart about it. They had them play 3, but.
I mean, I think it's normal for them to play 3. I think it's 3 to 4 with the same conference, and then 2 with opposite conference.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how
it was 4 division, 3 conference, 2 opposite.
Yep.
Yeah. That always confuses me. No, Lindsay's right. It's you play 1 game on the road and 1 game at home against every team, no matter what. And then you get 2 more for your division, right? And then it's 3 for the conference. That actually would make sense.
I think so. Yes.
Yeah.
You
usually play the conference more.
Yeah. So that would get you. Yeah, I think that gets you to 82. I never actually thought about that. I always wondered like how they manage that. I don't know why I've never really, just never like one of those things never really crossed my fucking path. But I don't really consider it manning up until you play me straight up, Shaq said. I've never doubled anybody, so you tell me who the real Superman is. Petty Shaq. Petty Shaq.
So ridiculous.
Fucking the pettiest. Dwight's gonna say it doesn't matter who's on the floor. Just play the game at a high level. Just to play the game at a high level is always fun. Very Shaq, or very Dwight Howard thing to say. It's entertaining for the crowd.
That with a smile on his face.
For sure. And then the media was like, "You stop fucking smiling, you big bitch. We don't like you being happy." It's entertaining for the crowd. I know he caught the ball one time in the post and the crowd erupted. So, like he was going to do a Superman dunk or something. I don't know what a Superman dunk is. Is that like...
I think that's his...
Oh, and then he teabags the guy? I call it the teabag.
Yeah.
Where he kind of pulls his nuts on their shoulder.
Shaq dunk.
But saddled with 5 fouls, Shaq didn't enter until 7:48 in the fourth quarter, and the game was tied at 94. So O'Neal plugged up the middle during his 19 minutes on the floor, something the Cavaliers sorely needed in their battles with Orlando last season. So far, Dwight had averaged 26 and 13 versus Cleveland last year in playoffs and regular season. In 2 games against Shaq and the Cavs this year, Howard has averaged 15 points and 9 rebounds. Drastically different.
Yeah.
Don't compare me to nobody. Shaq said, borrowing a line from Jay-Z. I'd rather not be mentioned. I'm offended. Fuck, stupid. The whole Superman thing kind of bothers him, LeBron said.
I was surprised LeBron was so honest about that. I'm like,
it's so good. It's so hilarious. Oh my god! But in the last matchup, so they go on this 13-game win streak, but then they go on 3 straight losses, and Orlando is that last loss before they get their shit together.
Yeah.
95-101. They're in Orlando. Shaq has 20 in this game. This is the interesting part. This is probably Shaq's best individual scoring performance, but they don't get the win. And Dwight is going to actually go off a little bit in this game too with a regular Dwight stat. 22 points, 16 rebounds, 4 blocks. Did only shoot 47%. So for a big man, that's not super great. But still.
Especially
this
him,
was... Go ahead.
No, I was going to say especially him at this point.
Yeah. This is, from a highlight standpoint, the most fun game. Like, Shaq gets his teabag dunk right on Dwight's face. Dwight comes back, does some nice, dunks of his own, block shots from both guys. Super entertaining. Obviously, LeBron doing LeBron shit, missing from the 3-point line a bunch, but 33, 9, and 6 for LeBron, 2 steals and a block, 5 turnovers, kind of high, but 95-101 Magic is the final. And all in all, I think they versus the Magic, I think they succeeded in their goal. Like, they had a guy who could be with Dwight and not necessarily need a double team, which was Shaq's whole gimmick. Played him one-on-one almost the entire stretch of 3 games.
I just think if that really was their thought process, is we have to beat the Magic, and just totally disregarding the Celtics, that just makes no sense.
Well, I don't think they were disregarding the Celtics, but I did feel like because of what had happened to them the year before, the Magic was more of a priority. I'd say that.
Yeah. I guess they lost because they lost bad to the Celtics, and the year before that they went 7 games with the Celtics, right?
Yeah.
So I guess that's the thought process. But
the Magic was so shocking, and their inside presence was so lacking that they were like, if we don't get somebody to stop this Dwight guy, we don't have to worry about the Celtics. We're not even going to make it there. It'll just be the Magic seeing it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure that's how they were looking at it. And I think it was relatively a successful thing for them. Obviously not during the playoffs, but for this regular season, it was a successful mission, I think. He's a big load, Dwight said of Shaq, who had taken offense recently to Dwight being called Superman. I didn't get a pause on he's a big load. I'm surprised.
No, I'm good. We're good.
You just
I mean, have you seen the size of him?
Yeah,
come on, guys.
Yeah, look at his girth. He's ridiculously girthy. But you just got to get in there and fight him. You got to get out there and wrestle with him. You got to make him work. Dwight is one of. I'll keep going.
No, we're good.
Dwight is one of the only true big men left. I'm sure he doesn't mind a little bit of physicality.
Oh,
Good Shaq, who avoided any verbal jabs at Howard after this one. Only physical jabs, you know.
But
physical. I darn sure don't mind it. Two big, strong guys, old ball, young ball, going at it. Fun game to watch.
Right. Oh my god. All right. Yo. All right. What's the next game that he plays?
All right, moving
Dario's
on.
like, I have no words. I'm done.
Yeah. Where does Shaq rank at in the MVP this year?
Oh yeah, right. Fucking -2 for MVP voting. The most interesting thing versus Shaq, Dwight Howard fouled 4.7 times per game. So he was just constantly in foul trouble. Yeah. Dwight's going to finish averaging 17.3 points, 11.3 rebounds, and 2.3 blocks in his matchups against Shaq. Only 35 minutes a game, and only one game where he played 40 minutes. The other ones were 31 minutes and 32. So he successfully kept him in foul trouble, kept him off the floor, and Cleveland was able to go 2-1 in the regular season against Orlando. And good fucking timing, because Shaq's about to fucking destroy his thumb and be done for the rest of the regular season.
Yeah.
So the Cavaliers center on March 1st will have surgery on his sprained right thumb Monday morning in Baltimore, which will likely mean he will be out for the remainder of the regular season.
It's just so weird that he's had that injury. Like this is his second time having that injury.
Well, okay, this is going to sound weird as fuck. But when I was a kid, I used to play on a lot of rims that were shorter.
Yeah.
So I did a lot of dunking as a kid. And I would come home with bruised up fingers, thumbs, like all this region and this region. I would have a bad bruised wrist, and my thumb and fingers from fucking trying my hardest to slam that fucking ball as hard as I could through the net.
Yeah.
Hurt the shit out of my hands. So maybe that's why. I'm just guessing. Clearly, I've never been Shaq or even remotely his size. But I remember as a kid, my hands would hurt like crazy after trying to dunk all day, and I'd come home with bruises and shit. Like if I was trying to do homework, holding a pencil in my fingers was like not always the easiest task. So I wonder if that's the reason. Also, you got motherfuckers hanging on you going up for the ball, you know? Like what if they try to like get the ball and they smack at your hand and shit? Like
it's not like I can't understand why he would get it. It's just weird that like I would think like he had more like big, like his bigger injuries have tended to be either these thumb injuries or his like quad and like right. It was his quad,
his feet.
Yeah. Yeah.
His foot was plagued him through the tail end of his prime, the most of his prime. The heat thing, it was like his lower extremities. The guy was just more injury prone than people, I think, realize because he played for so long.
Yeah. And he was just a bruiser. Like he was just like
Yeah.
down low, banging bodies, paws.
As he said over and over again, he was a football player, not a basketball player. So they're talking about the surgery, and they are asking Mike Brown just about Shaq. And he says, when we won 13 in a row, Shaq was a huge part of it. He allowed us to still be able to score buckets easily in the half court. And I looked it up just for the sake of looking it up. This is the 13-game win streak from the 16th to the 11th of 2010. And he's going to average 15 points, 6 rebounds, 2.2 assists, and 63% shooting, which I'm pretty sure is going to be number one in the NBA for that frame. I'd be pretty surprised if it was anybody else. But I'll get it on your screen in case I'm wrong.
With a block a game.
But yeah, with a block a game. And I was surprised. I really think he, for the limited minutes he was playing, that's the other thing. It's like, I don't know if he can play 35 minutes a game, but if he could, what would these numbers look like? Would they be better or worse? I don't know.
Yeah. See, I think if he was able to be like off the bench doing something like that, that would have been really, really good for them. Like think about that, like a bench player, 25 minutes a game, giving you 15 and 6.
Yeah, that's 6 man of the year category.
Yeah, slowing down the pace, give LeBron his breathers, let Shaq just get you the 15 and 6 or whatever.
Yeah,
have a slower pace. LeBron comes right back, maybe speeds that shit up or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, though. Like, give each lineup a different kind of feel.
Yeah. And just for you, Lindsay, like, it's funny as hell that, like, no matter what, the Clippers just suck. Like, in this 13-game win streak, they're 2 of the wins.
Shaq has great stats historically against the Clippers. I wonder. I'll look it up. I'm not going to look it up now. I'll look it up 70, later.
Right?
I got to look up. Yeah, he did the 61 piece on
60
the Clippers.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
But no, I got to see who he scored the most points against in his career. It's either New Jersey or the Clippers.
No, it's the Clippers. The 61 is his most ever.
No. I'm saying per game for his whole career.
Oh, sorry, per game. Sorry,
gotcha. As an average. But the last thing I want to talk about before we get to the playoffs, like that fucking deal that he signed in 2005 was genius. Like, absolutely genius.
Yeah.
Because he got $20 million for this year, I think every year, either until this year or including this year.
Yep.
He was making $20 million throughout all this mediocre shit.
Yeah, no.
And
that was the worst part. That's what we were saying.
Genius.
That's what
the worst part for who?
Ago,
the worst part for the teams that had to pay it.
Yeah,
that's
what
I'm saying. For Shaq.
Yeah, no, that's what I was saying. Like, or at least I remember a song about this. Like, he just got paid throughout his whole career. Like, that was pretty good.
And now that we basically have almost all the money minus 1.3 million at his point of retirement, Shaq is made more money playing basketball than anybody. You did mention this previously. We did talk about this a little bit, but it's just really interesting because this is really at the point of retirement. This is just through 2011.
Yep.
And $286 million. So figure 285 after this year we're talking about.
Yeah.
Is crazy. Like, what a smart guy. Even if you think, or even if I think like he had a weird perception of how much game he had left,
Yeah.
to have the foresight to say, I got to get 20 million every year now before my fucking skills completely fall off a cliff.
Yeah.
Like, because if he
And
was a free agent going to Cleveland, he's not getting $20 million. Get the fuck out of here.
And that was the biggest thing with the Lakers. Like a lot that everybody was so into the like right then and there.
Yeah.
That everybody thought that it was like a bad decision, right, to let go of Shaq. But in that case, like that's what they were gonna have to pay for the next couple of years.
Yeah, 100%. The Lakers and specifically Jerry Buss did not want to do that deal at all.
And then imagine them doing that and getting rid of Kobe. That would have been the worst. They would have been. Oh my god! They would have been pretty much.
Think about how much that would have set them back if they don't get a good draft piece.
Yeah,
like if they don't get a good draft pick, they're not winning another championship for a while.
Yeah, exactly. And like just so what happened with like after Kobe's retirement, they pretty much had that drought, right? Like for those, they had almost a decade drought. That's what would have happened with Shaq. It would have just happened 10 years earlier, I think.
Jeez. Fucking all right, so we have made the playoffs. So Shaq's back for the playoffs, and they're gonna go against the Chicago Bulls, who are like okay at this point. They have Derrick Rose, right? They have Joakim Noah at like peak Joakim Noah time.
Yeah.
So like there's somebody for Shaq to go up against. It's kind of interesting.
And this is when Joakim Noah has those very famous comments about Cleveland.
Oh, what's so great about Cleveland?
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember that. Like people made such a big deal about that.
Sucking big dick.
Yeah.
But Cavs are going to take game one, and Shaq's going to be a big part of it.
Well, apparently, I was going to say, well, apparently LeBron agreed with Joakim. He's like, you know what? You're kind of right.
Like, you know what? I need to get out of here.
Yeah.
But Shaq's going to hit him with a sexy dunk I wanted to watch. So he gets it. Oh!
Just give him a nice little spin. That's such a vet move. You go, Shaq.
Embarrassed him. Completely embarrassed him. So old. Yeah. Ultimate vet move. But they're going to ask him about it in the, after the game. It was a basic move, Shaq said. I just spin up and go strong. I've been doing it for years. That is facts. Yes. He's been doing that literally since college, since high school.
Yeah.
That little drop step. Body bag.
That was the fastest he ran up the court in years.
Yeah. And that's it. And so that's the patented move. And O'Neal practically skipped up the court afterwards. Yeah, look at his face. He's mean mugging. Chris Webber style.
My man ran a 4.640 running back down the field. Like, that was the fastest Shaq did. Like, he was
that's the patented move.
After that.
Okay, yeah. That's the patented move, Shaq said. I've been doing it for years. That's the diesel truck with no brakes. You see, when I get into that move, people get out the way because they know I'm going and I don't have brakes. Stupid. What do you call it? But that's game one. LeBron drops 40 in game two. This is the dunk. It's that fucking. It looks like he dunks and then like has a vinegar stroke.
On Luol Deng.
Yeah, this is a great dunk. This is one of my favorite dunks. I didn't even realize that it was during this. No, it's not Luol Deng. But he goes, drives baseline. The whole crowd of Cleveland just jizzes as in unison, like collective semen. Look at that. Look at that. That's the face. That's the face Gloria James sees right before LeBron's about to make another baby. It's insane. But
my man, deadass hit him with the deadly part of the triple threat.
Oh yeah, facts.
Cool.
LeBron said after that, it ranks up there. It's one of my best dunks. Just to think about how far we've come. Because now nobody even talks about that fucking dunk.
Yeah.
Nobody.
He's had some crazy ones though, so he's put a couple people in some body bags. So I don't
Facts.
know.
But Cavs are gonna get through the Bulls in 5 games.
Yeah. Say deuces to them hoes.
Them Chicago's. Get it? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I see myself out. See you guys. Okay, no. But no.
Chicago's.
I hate you. So get through that. What did Derrick Rose average in this series? 27 and 7. Not bad. That was it. So
this might have been his breakout.
Yeah, no. He's going to win MVP next year. So it's definitely this is his breakout year for sure. Before the big
full
one.
MVP, before his full MVP.
But the Cavs are going to be going up against the Boston Celtics. This is a series that we covered at pretty great length during LeBron's legacy breakdown. So I am not going to dive too far into it here, but there was a question I asked during LeBron's legacy breakdown, and I would like to follow up on that here. Why doesn't anybody ask Shaq about the Delonte West thing?
Yeah. I just think they just don't expect him to give them the true answer. I don't think he'd tell. It must have been something like super because it was so personal too, like with Delonte. Because man, Delonte West banged his mother, man. he hit his mom, man. He knows how to be his dad. That's crazy.
Here is what
Shaq that.
Is that really how that works? One man fucks your mom and he's now your dad?
No,
I mean, he's your
steppapa.
Then he's stepdaddy. That's how it works.
Yeah, he's your steppapa, and you just gotta deal with that.
We all have step parents. I have step parents.
You know what the conversation looks at in Thanksgiving, like his mom's serving the turkey. You see Bron there.
No. Delonte's serving the turkey. Let's make this very clear.
No.
There's meat. If there's meat to be served, it's being served by Delonte. But
okay.
Here's what Shaq did say about this team.
So wow.
In 2011, right?
Oh man.
In 2011, Bleacher Report wrote or had an interview with Shaq, and Shaq said, "I remember one day in a film session, LeBron didn't get back on defense after a missed shot. Mike Brown didn't say anything about it. He went to the next clip, and it was Mo Williams not getting back, and Mike was saying, 'Yo, Mo, we can't have that. You got to hustle a little more.' So Delonte West is sitting there, and he's seen enough, and he stands up and says, 'Hold up now. You can't be pussyfooting around like that. Everyone has to be accountable for what they do, not just some of us.'" Really, Delonte? Interesting. Mike Brown said, "I know, Delonte. I know." Mike knew Delonte was right. I'm not willing to say Delonte was right because he was doing a lot of pussyfooting around. And I don't know how I feel about the hypocrisy of that statement.
Nah. You want to know, this is my thing. Delonte was just being a good dad right there. Because
fair dad. Teaching good manners and values.
Yes, he's like, you can't just treat my son like the superstar that he is. You have to teach him these things. He has to go through the coaching and the methods and stuff. And he was just taking that away from his child. So he wanted to help him, He was doing it for the benefit of LeBron. And LeBron realized that from his papa and then realized he needs different coaching and different structure. So that's what leads to this offseason for him.
So, yeah, obviously LeBron's going to leave Cleveland after this. One of the more shitty series he's ever had. Obviously, the famous Game 5 played horrific. And the big three go on to get robbed of an NBA championship by the Lakers.
Oh, absolutely not. You see Kobe win number 5 and Shaq start breaking shit all over the place.
Yeah, I also saw Kendrick Perkins with a busted body. So
that's
okay.
cute. That's cute.
But in
Part
2016,
game, my friend.
This is what I'm going to leave you with. This is the last question of the show. In 2016, Shaq said to Yahoo Sports that he thought the Cavs would have won the championship in 2010 had he been healthy. Here we go.
Bro, he said that with how many teams that he's been on already? Like, how many times did he say, yeah, if I was healthy, I would, like, come on, get the fuck out of here with that.
If my fucking mother was my father, if my fucking mother had a dick, she would be my father. That's all I'm saying about that. But we were number 1. Everything was good. I knew my role just to back LeBron up. If he looks to me, I score. If not, set picks, get him open, rebound, knock other players on their ass. I knew my role. We were in first. We were playing against Boston, and Big Baby Davis, who could never stop me, did hack-a-Shaq. And as soon as I grabbed the ball, I could feel my thumb. I had that injury before. I knew my hand was broke. So he was talking about in March when he actually got his hand hurt.
Yeah.
Just to clarify, because obviously they played him in the playoffs. Yeah. So now when your hand is broke, you're out 4 weeks. There's nothing you can do, Shaq said. I did cardio. I ate right. I went to the gym. I was there every night running the treadmill. The treadmill, Dario. The treadmill. And then when I came back to play, I'm like, I'm in people shape. But I'm not in basketball shape. And we just never got it going again. So my question is, do you think Shaq, a healthy Shaq, gets them any further than they got?
A healthy Shaq?
Yeah.
No. I think
me neither.
like I think you still lose to the Celtics. Maybe you lose in 6 or like they didn't lose. Like LeBron didn't lose against the Celtics because they did lose in 6. Yeah, I would think it would have been the same exact shit.
Me too.
LeBron didn't lose against the Celtics because Shaq wasn't there.
Yeah, thank you.
Like it was not because of him.
Yeah, it was because his mother wasn't there for him, but for another.
Yeah.
That's the reason. And because apparently Mike Brown is a fucking piece of shit.
Do you know how fucking hard it is to have to like change your birth certificate and everything throughout the postseason? Like in the middle of the playoff series, you have to just go and change. Like you got a new dad. Like come on, you have
you're
to
fucking LeBron. You're fucking LeBronte West.
Yeah,
you become LeBronte West going forward.
Like, how are you going to be a junior now? Like, he had to switch his whole shit up. That's why it took a while. The whole sedation shit. Yeah, he was just
sedation?
Sedated. Yeah. You don't remember? Like,
no. He had to be sedated. No. Yeah, I was like, what? The sedation? What?
Yeah. It was just why. He was having a panic attack. He was like, I never have a dad, like a new dad. Shit. Like, so.
They're like, Delonte West is splooging on my mom's chest. We don't need that.
Crazy.
We don't fucking need that. But, sorry, LeBron. I hope you never watch this. We are fucking almost done. We're almost there, man. We got one more season to go. It's probably going to be less than an hour. We'll fucking see. I thought this one was going to be an hour. We almost doubled it. But we are almost through the entire legacy of Shaq. But he's got one more team to go to. And it's the team that fucked them up before.
Was he KD before KD?
Hey guys, if you like what you heard, be sure to check out our YouTube channel. Just type in Apex Greatness on YouTube to see everything we put out this year. From legacy breakdowns to current NBA and NFL content. We have over 150 videos to binge if you're that type of person, or just to listen to in your spare time. We have about 2 to 5 hours of new content every week. Check us out. Later.